Hello folks, this is Duncan at Free as an Eagle. Quick check-in to say hi and catch up a little bit. Been a very busy week and I'm actually exhausted right now, but I'm kind of fixing to go home and take a cat nap. But it's been very exciting lately, getting a lot done. And in particular, we finally got the end facing the driveway, the entry end of the actual face of the building. I got the siding on, run all the way to the top, and I even stole a little eagle that I had down at my house because I loved it, and it was kind of a throwback to the 70s. A guy that had hired us to do work during COVID, my brother and I had been working on this house, and the guy wanted me to take the eagle down. We're going to paint the house, and I asked him if he wanted it or he'd mind if I take it, and he's like, oh, you can have it. So I was quite happy to get that little eagle, and then my wife painted it up, made it really pretty. I'll just zoom in on it because it's cool. And I had it at our house, but I decided to steal it for the A-frame because it fits the decor. But anyway, so I'm very happy to have gotten a lot of the siding on here. Okay, I'm trying to zoom this back out. And this actually became more of a project than I expected because this siding is log siding, so it has the appearance of logs, and you stain it up like you're doing a log cabin. And it's an oil stain that actually takes a month to cure, and at first I didn't realize it doesn't dry like stain with polyurethane, which you can handle within a day or two with no problem. But this stuff really requires a month for it to cure hard enough so you don't scratch it up easily. So I found that out right away, that I'll walk up to it, we'll look a little closer. It's beautiful stuff. It takes stain beautifully, brought out the grain and created an absolutely beautiful color that I'm quite pleased with. But you had to lay this on, and luckily I did it on the bench, and you soak it as completely as you can. You go over it 3 or 4 times so it drinks up all the oil it can handle, and then it sets up over a period of time. So I realized right away it would take a while to get it to the point where I could work on it, but then we had a beautiful stretch of several weeks with almost no rain, so I had my son Carter lay it out and stain it for me. He did most of it. And I left it outside for like 4 or 5 days at a time per batch. And finally, when I brought it in, it was dry enough to touch. And I built these big racks on the inside of the A-frame, which I've locked the door. I'll show you another time. But we built these big racks, and we put the entire amount of siding for more or less the whole building in there in these big racks, which between the first floor and the second, I was able to store it all. And then I began to apply this. And I found out pretty quickly that nails, you have to use stainless steel nails so they won't run or leave blemishes. Sometimes if you use the wrong nails on siding, it can leave rust marks or corrosion marks. So the safest way to go is stainless. So I use these split-proof ring shank type stainless nails, and they hold the siding on very nicely. But they're a little easy to bend. They're kind of thin, and if you're not careful, they will bend on you, and then they're hard to pull out. And of course, you don't want to lever against this siding. You don't even want to touch it once you've applied it. So I found the best thing to do is take a small drill bit and actually... Thank you! Got a neighbor going by on his tractor and saying that he loves this little place. I'm actually getting a lot of positive feedback. It's really coming out actually even better than I expected. It's just beautiful. So anyway, using the stainless steel nails and a pilot bit in a drill, I found that the best way to do it is to drill a little pilot hole through the siding and then send the nail through. So I'll place a board, get a couple nails in it, and then drill the rest of the holes. And on this siding, it's about 1.5 inches thick at the thickest point, and then they tell you to put the nails in maybe 1/3 of the way in on each side. So you can see where I've got these nails in pairs, and you angle them a little bit inward so it adds to the holding power. So there's lots of little tricks here, but when I realized I was going to have to hand nail every piece, that immediately created this sense of, oh my god, you can't use nail guns on this, you'd wreck it. And hand nailing produces the best result, because sometimes you don't know, guns that you tend to set them at a given power level, and if they hit something hard, they'll get jammed or won't go all the way in. If they hit something soft, they'll overshoot, leave marks. So this is one of those kinds of jobs that's well worth taking the time to hand nail. but it certainly adds to the amount of time involved. So this took me better part of this week to get this one side done, and I had mocked up for the roof. Now there's this little porch going on the front of it, and I anticipated where the flashing was going to go when the roof went on by mocking it up with pieces of plywood, pieces of wood embedded in the space between those rafters and the siding to kind of mimic what the plywood and the roofing are going to require. So I've done enough roofing in the past to feel comfortable doing that, even though it's a little risk. If I messed anything up, it's entirely too late to do anything about it. So hoping that this porch, which is the next project, goes well. But this is really a pretty look. I love it. It's exactly what I was hoping for, kind of a Western lodge kind of look. And I'm combining an A-frame with a log cabin, which is a little bit of a weird thing to do, but it's a pretty look. So I'm happy. So the coming week, the game plan, get the staging down and out of the way. And what the logic of doing this whole side first was simply because once there's a roof, and it's going to have the same pitch as the A-frame roof, it's about 64 degrees. If I built the porch first, it would be very tricky to get on top of it in any way that would allow me to do the rest of it and work off of it. It wouldn't be practical, and I'm trying to avoid anything besides staging and ladders here. So anyway, so we've done this. It came out nicely. Got all the windows in, a little eagle up there. And now the next step is to take the staging out of the way, and then we're going to pull up the plywood that was a temporary protective layer over the deck flooring, and then we're going to actually frame up this little porch. And it's going to look interesting because I couldn't live with any other roof pitch but the one the A-frame already has. Nothing else looked right to me. I just barely had enough room between those windows and that roof to fit this in there. And now it's going to come out to the front, and what's going to get interesting is, because there's going to be stairs and railings on the front, it probably won't look as squatty as it does now. It looks a little gingerbready or something, but I think when the stairs are in front with railings going up to a door out in the front, it'll normalize the look a little bit, and then that'd be a little entry mudroom with a centered door. My wife was going berserk on me when she realized the door was off center, but it's like, no, that's only the inner door. That was to offset the hallway a little bit to make the rooms on the right bigger. Although we reconfigured everything to put the kitchen on the right rather than a bedroom. Now that we're moving into it, that changed the game a bit, so we had to kind of rethink the layout. But anyway, that's all going to work. And this coming week, the goal is to frame up this little porch, plywood it, roof it, and it'll have some log siding on the sides up to that little knee wall level, and then out in the front there'll be a door there with a little bit of siding around that, and then it'll be the green roofing. So anyway, lots of progress this week. I'm actually really excited. I'm tired, but I'm really excited. I'm glad that things are working out as well as they can. It's like I love getting to the finished part of things, or when you actually see the desired goal in terms of how it's going to look. But there's still a long way to go. I've got these dormers, and they aren't going to be too tricky. A couple of small windows to go in that one, and then the big dormer, we still have the daunting challenge of putting these gigantic triangles in. We were going to attack that Wednesday, and I'd kind of monkeyed up my back a little bit moving staging, and I was like, I don't know if I can handle it right now. But as I swing around here, this big dormer has a triangle up there. That's going to be a doozy. We're going to have to hang a rope and pulleys set up off the ridge to pull that window up, and we'll have a large amount of staging involved in that. And right now, the other end, the south end, where the view is, it has a similar triangle that's got to go up, and that's another thing that we're going to get to doing soon. But those are the last remaining really tricky projects. So one at a time. We'll keep moving on it until we get there. The rest of this end is ready for siding and go all the way up to where that triangle goes with siding. So lots to do, and I'll keep you posted. It's coming along well, and a little bit of luck before snow flies, we'll have the exterior completely done. That's the big goal, and definitely a daunting goal, but it's good to have something to work toward. Anyway, we'll talk to you again soon, folks, and hope you're enjoying the holiday weekend. This is Saturday of Labor Day weekend, so things are pretty busy, and the weather's actually holding out. It's beautiful out here right now. All right, I'll let you go. Take care.